Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, October 25th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Big news this week. Google announced the biggest change they made to search, the biggest improvement they made to search in almost 5 years, they said, and that is the Google BERT update, which is similar to RankBrain, and I'll get into it in more detail. Google also said that Google Translate is no longer necessarily considered spam, although it is right now, but it might not be in the future. Google said Google may be having some recipe-rich snippet bugs, and Microsoft updated and redesigned their advertising platform. Stay tuned for more information. You don't want to miss it. Like I said, Google announced one of the most significant, or the most significant update they did in search. At least that's what they're calling it in the past 5 years, and one of the biggest things they ever done in search ever, they said. They're calling it the BERT update, or they're calling it basically that. It's basically Google's way of understanding search queries and content better. Google said it's impacting about 10% of the queries. One in every 10 queries, this BERT algorithm or update is being used. It began rolling out earlier this week. It should be rolled out fully by the end of this week, I guess today, tomorrow. And it's alive for all English language queries. It also impacts feature snippets in a very big way. And those feature snippets across not just English, but multiple languages. So keep that in mind. In addition, it does seem like these were probably related to the fluctuations we covered earlier this week, specifically over the weekend, on Monday, which I posted about, and on Wednesday. And I'll get into more about that a little bit later. And also, I believe the BERT updated a lot like RankBrain specifically. It's a machine learning algorithm that aims to better understand queries and content on the page. BERT technically is a neural network-based technique for natural language processing. It stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. Google wrote about it in much more detail over here if you want to take a look at it. And it basically allows Google to understand some queries in more human-like fashion, more like humans would understand it. It's better for more natural and conversational-based queries. And it basically is just Google's way of saying they better understand how, when somebody enters a query, what relevant pages should come up for the query, based on Google understanding the query better and content better. Google said, again, it was a massive update. About 10% of all queries were impacted. Google, like I said, we covered the updates earlier this week, and I'm still tracking the chatter in the SEO community as well as the various tools, and it doesn't, at least maybe from my perspective, it doesn't seem bigger than like a Panda or Penguin or Core update. That being said, those types of updates impact SEOs more than necessarily. I felt like the Penguin update, which had a smaller impact according to Google, impacted SEOs more than the Panda, and so forth. What I'm trying to say is basically, this is something Google's doing in terms of understanding languages. It might not be a direct target, or definitely is not a direct target at SEOs. So that's why the SEO communities are noticing less. It doesn't replace RankBrain or other language processing techniques that Google uses, like spelling corrections and so forth. It could be used in conjunction with other algorithms, for sure. You probably cannot optimize for RankBrain. I'm sorry, like for BERT, like you can't optimize for RankBrain and so forth. And Google gave us examples and queries. One of the bigger things, at least in my mind, again, it doesn't feel huge based on what I said, but Bill Lambert, this character, said last week that there'll be a game changer this week in search. It's going to be one of the biggest things, he said, that Google has released. And he was right. It actually started rolling out early this week, Google said, and he said it was going to roll out on Tuesday, and he was pretty much right. And even when I said it doesn't look like something huge, I said on Wednesday, it doesn't look like something huge going on. He's like, well, there is something huge going on, and it's rolling out now. And Google hasn't confirmed anything until last night at 3 a.m. Unless this morning at 3 a.m. Then I have posted some of the SEO reactions and so forth. Very interesting. Definitely take a look at this. There's lots of stuff written about this right now, and we'll be tracking it over the next week. But again, this is probably one of the more significant things you should read about if you have missed it. And like I said, we posted about 2 updates, probably related to this BERT update. Not exactly sure exactly if Google will confirm it, but basically over the weekend I saw lots of chatter, not crazy amount of chatter, but significant chatter where I wanted to write about it. The tools were not going crazy. And then again on Wednesday, I saw another somewhat significant bump in chatter, And again, the tools and the chatter is not crazy off the scale like a Penguin Panda or Core update, but it does obviously relate that probably to this BERT algorithm update. So keep that in mind. Google said also that Google auto translation content won't lead to a manual action, or probably won't lead to a manual action. But according to Google's own terms of service and webmaster guidelines, they are against their guidelines. But John Mueller said, I don't think this would trigger a manual action. But if, basically said over here, but if translations are bad, then then it's bad content in general. However, machine translation is much better than it used to be, et cetera, et cetera. So just keep in mind this is related to what we discussed last week about machines and algorithms and writing content for you, and Google, and things are getting better at that. And with that, Google might have to update their guidelines around auto-generated content. Google's recipe-rich results seem to be having disappearing images. Lisa Bryan, who is a food blogger and uses this a lot, said her images are dropping out. She has to resubmit them for crawling and indexing, and they come back in. And also Jeff Hawley, who also is in the rich results area, specifically recipes, saying also he's seeing this. Google has not responded to the complaints, but this happens every now and then with recipe results, so I'm not sure what's going on. Google seems to be rolling out, at least in a broader sense, the key moments feature where it shows you in this video timelines. Here's what it looks like in this video timelines. And it seems like people are now seeing this roll out more widely, which is pretty cool. SEOs, according to a poll by Lily Ray on Twitter, seem to have doubt if the Google's Disavow link tool actually works. Here are the responses, as you can see. Basically, you can see over here that 41% said it may have worked, I'm not sure. 34% said it didn't do anything for me. 19% said it did work, and 6% thought it hurt their site. Seems like most SEOs are pretty negative around it, which again, maybe Google should remove it. I don't know. Google's French-based snippet controls are live. So if you go to Google France and you search for certain things, and that publisher hasn't went ahead and specifically allowed Google to actually use their snippets, it might look like something like this, where it's just showing titles or a sublet of a title as well as a URL without any content snippets there. It looks even weirder in Google News in Google France. It is what it is. I wonder how long Google France will actually hold out with this. Lizzie Harvey from Google said that Google has deprecated the corporate content markup for knowledge panels. If you go to that page now and you click on it, Google will basically show you at the top of the page that it has been deprecated. And it'll give you a warning that corporate content markup for knowledge panels is deprecated. And now it says basically automatically discover corporate content information to include Google Knowledge Panels. If you verified an official representative of Google Knowledge Panel, you can suggest a change directly, and we click over here to actually learn how to do this. Google added this feature, I believe, a couple years ago. And with that, I guess Google decided to get rid of the specific markup for that. On the Microsoft side, the Bing Ads side, which is now Microsoft Advertising, Bing announced they actually have redesigned the Microsoft Advertising platform. You can take a look at it. I believe it's in beta right now. And basically, this kind of brings it up to par on some level with Google Ads, the new redesigned Google Ads. And you can go through this post. We'll take you through a look of how this actually looks. But here's a screenshot showing this basically larger, and it basically gives you a more modern interface, giving you ability to actually find things faster and use the system much, much faster. On the Google Ads front, Google officially launched responsive search ads, which basically give Google a way to automatically take the best of your ads, headlines, content, etc., mix and match them, and then show something what they think is going to drive a better click-through rate and conversion rate for you. That's officially live if you want to use it. Google Ads added new Affinity audiences, which is a new feature around finding new types of people to see your ads, as well as seasonal event segments. And again, this is more ways to target your ads to searchers. And Google My Business is testing auto suggest replies for reviews. So if somebody drops you a review, you go to Google My Business and respond to that review, you'll see Google basically, if you click reply, Google will automatically, I don't see it myself, but Google will automatically fill in a response for you that I think might be appropriate. I haven't seen this myself, but it is fairly interesting. And finally, if you missed it, I posted a vlog part 1 with Eric Enge from Stone Temple, formerly Stone Temple, now Perficient Digital. And in this vlog, we spent about, 12, see how many, we spent about, I think about 15 minutes or so talking about his company and how he started the company and then how he eventually sold it and how that impacted him personally, how it impacted the employees, how it was working with his wife, and then all his contributions to the SEO and SEM community over the years, and if there was an ROI with that. The next part 2 will be published on Wednesday, where we get into nitty-gritty about SEO topics, which is always fun as well. So definitely take a look at that if you missed it. And in any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to smash the like button and hit the bell for notifications. And thanks so much for listening. Again, today is Friday, October 25th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable. Again, don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. Bye.